name's Edward Snowden. I've always appreciated electronic music. The melodies that I remember with the most fondness are from video games where they sort of generated 8-bit music. And those kind of chip tunes have really made a resurgence in modern musical culture today. And I think people like Jean-Michel are the ones who really popularized that and made that possible for us to appreciate it as more than just sounds, as more than just background, but as actual culture. Music is one of the things that can sort of connect the different days and moments and themes of your life into a coherent narrative. There's always something that you're listening to, something that unites you, something that guides you, something that makes you feel when you're in an environment that in many ways would be considered unfeeling. Music is the thing that can humanize even the most abstract moment.
One of the recurrent themes of Electronica Part 1 and Part 2 is actually this ambiguous relationship we have with technology. On one side, we have the world in our pocket with our smartphones, but on the other side, we feel that the world is spying on us.
Technology can actually increase privacy. The question is, why are our private details that are transmitted online, why are private details that are stored on our personal devices any different than the details and private records of our lives that are stored in our private journals?
The first time I heard about Edward Snowden, I thought about my mom. She was a great figure in the French resistance, and she went into the resistance more or less at the same age. I thought a lot about what she told me when I was a kid, saying that when society is generating something that you cannot accept, you have to stand up against it. And Edward Snowden became a modern hero by not saying stop, but saying be careful regarding the use of technology.
I think, saying that you don't care about the right to privacy because you have nothing to hide is no different than saying you don't care about freedom of speech because you have nothing to say.
I've been in contact with Edward, and we have had a few conversations on video conferences discussing about this track, Exit.
I was surprised. It certainly wasn't something I was expecting. As an engineer, as someone who's not really cool, it's something of a treat to be invited to collaborate on a big cultural project.
I wrote a kind of speedy techno track evoking the constant and hectic production of data, this obsessive quest for more informations on everything and on everybody, linked to this mad hunt and chase in order to get hold of people like Edward. We recorded some of the vocals.
It's a deeply anti-social principle because rights are not just individual, they're collective. And what may not have value to you today may have value to an entire, population, an entire people, or an entire way of life tomorrow.
I was thinking about the appropriate title, and I thought about Exit, and I was not sure. The first time we talked, you convinced me it was a good title, Exit.
You have a choice. And exit, whether it's used as a noun or a verb, is something which we pursue. It's something where we direct ourselves. We are on a path, and we realize we use the liberty to which we're entitled that surrounds us to go, things have to change. It's time to leave, it's time to do something else. It's time to find a better way. I should no longer be here. And whether that's a lifestyle, because you realize that, such as myself, I signed up to serve my nation. I spent nearly a decade working for my government in secret, whether it was undercover around the world or within the United States. And rather than protecting my society against enemies, against terrorists, against outsiders, I realized we were monitoring more Americans than we were monitoring foreigners. And what does that mean when you realize that the values that you stood up to defend, that you believed in so much, that you dedicated your life to, are actually being subverted by your very actions? You need to find a way out.
If you don't stand up for it, then I will.
I am honored to have Edward Snowden as a collaborator, being part of this project, and I dedicated this album, Electronica Part 2, to him.
Music works across language, music works across borders, music works across cultures. Music, as with all art, is one of the only ways that we can create bonds and bridges between human hearts that are beyond semantic understanding. And that is reason, more than anything else, why we need music.